Blog Talk Radio.
Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's a new experience. Reality, Spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one, man. Spirituality. You got a question for RLN? Reality, Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. Spirituality. Oh, now we get real. Yeah, it's time to get down. Yeah, you gonna feel good now. Real good. Now, that's what I'm talking about. Time to get real.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Reality Spirituality. I'm your host, Rebecca Lynn Norrington, and as always, thank you so much for being part of the show. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your emails. Thank you for calling in. The number to call in live and ask Rebecca anything is area code 646-564-9619. Again, area code 646-564-9619, and press the number 1. Today's show is going to be, I love to have the shows current, and today's show is going to be about what I have been experiencing in the last week, and so perfect for today's topic about complaining and about choosing relationships. And like everything, every moment that you have is a choice. You choose how you're going to feel. You choose what you're going to focus on. You choose how you're going to react. You choose your words. You choose your perspective in every moment. You choose what you're going to say. You choose what you don't say. And I am a self-proclaimed happiness specialist, but I have to say that my life and my experiences in the last week has been a concentrated lesson about relationships and about complaining and about really who is at fault, who is at blame when I complain. Just yesterday, I was at Costco, and I ran into, and it always happens. It always happens when I go out, and I had a really busy week of exercising, and of course I didn't do anything to my hair, and the last couple of days, just really, so my hair was just looking all, as my father would say, wise and otherwise. And of course, I run into somebody that I know, but I hadn't seen this woman. She was actually a student in one of my exercise classes, and I hadn't seen her probably, 8 years, maybe a little bit longer. And so we started talking about, how are you doing? What are you doing now? Where are you teaching? And we got into parents. And she was explaining to me that her mother is becoming very difficult to handle, to take care of. She just went into this full length, a lot of complaints about her mother, how her mother is very critical, how her mother is insulting, a whole list of things about her mother. And listen, yes, I said, and we had a lot of coincidences. Her mother would say things like, I don't trust you, and my mother has said the same thing about me. But the interesting thing is, I said, wow, I'm relating to her story. And with that, I have to say that I got swept up, and I started putting my 2 cents in and started complaining. Yes, that's right, complaining, little complaints about my mother. And this is what the universe did to me, right in the middle of, where were we? We were in the aisle where they have the granola and the cereal. And when I started complaining, and I said, do you know what my mother said to me last, 2 months ago, 3 months ago? And then my voice, honestly, my voice got like tickly. Like, you know how you have something stuck in your throat? And my voice was, as I started complaining, and I said to myself, I actually said it out loud. I said, wow, the universe doesn't want me to complain. But guess what I did? I cleared my throat, and I kept talking. But I still couldn't get the tickle out of my throat. And it was a message and a reminder to me that this complaining about people, about circumstances, about life, about pain, about health, about finances, about whatever, about global warming, about the state of the world, all of this complaining, really what it does is it not only subtracts from your happiness, it actually puts you into a different energy, a different vibration. The vibration is a vibration of dissatisfaction, which also brings about more dissatisfaction. You can't complain in one moment and expect to feel good in the next. And I was conscious while I was talking, and I even said it. I said, wow, why am I even talking about this? What am I doing? And I said it out loud, and my friend said, she says, well, you're just venting. You've heard that one. You just need it to vent. And the truth of the matter is, this venting or letting it out, for me, just using myself as an example, is an excuse to complain. Venting, for me, is an excuse to complain. So, because let me get really specific. What good, what benefit is there for me to either complain about someone else or a situation or even to complain about myself? What is the benefit? Does anybody have an answer out there in Reality Spirituality Radio world? I don't find any. I can't find any. It doesn't even make sense to me. So to start off with complaining and blaming and pointing the finger and discussing, it is really a habit. It's something that is done by the masses. It's something that is accepted. Complaining is accepted by mostly everyone in the world. Scratch that, mostly everyone in the world. Complaining is accepted by a lot of people. How's that? And if the masses are doing it, if the majority of the people are doing it, if you hear it all the time, guess what? It's time to do something different. Your state of mind, your personal vibration, how you feel in every moment is your responsibility. Sorry to say, but it really is. And with that responsibility, with responsibility for how you're feeling in every moment, comes a lot of empowerment, a lot of okay, I do have control over my state of mind. I do have control over what I want to focus on. Now, let me throw something else in. Not only was I complaining, I was, as she said, venting, but what am I doing? What am I bringing to someone else? What am I bringing to this person that I haven't seen in 8 years? I mean, the complaint, quite frankly, if you want to say being considerate or inconsiderate, I don't even know if I would use the term inconsiderate, but It is inconsiderate. I mean, I'm not bringing her a gift. It's actually the opposite. It's really becoming more and more aware of my words. And even just complaining or thinking about a circumstance and finding fault or finding something wrong in any situation. And the bottom line is whatever is going on, whatever is happening, has a good reason. Now, I'm not going to beat myself up for complaining for a few minutes, because that would be more complaining and being more critical. But as far as being aware, so I just wanted to share with you complaining and being aware of what you're saying. Now, the other thing, and you know what? I totally forgot to welcome my new listeners. New listeners, this show is about how to experience more peace and more contentment, internal peace, internal contentment, happiness in your life in every moment. And see, this show is about day-by-day experiences. Now, let me talk about something that I have to look at first of all, let me put on my glasses, my reading glasses. So let's talk about people, relationships, friends, coworkers, family members. Let's talk about who and why we allow people to, and the word is allow people to affect our mood or our internal state or our peace or our joy or our space. So I have a question for you, my dear audience. I have a really, really easy question. Would you invite anyone into your home? Stranger, anyone. Would you open your door, or your front door and back door doors, would you open your door to just anybody to come into your home? And I've been thinking about this a lot because I have people in my life that have been in my life for, 30 years, 20 years, 40 years. And I always say that they're, quote, unquote, grandfathered in. And I'm beginning to switch my perspective up on that, or switch my thinking about that, because quite frankly, 40 years ago, 35 years ago, 30 years ago, 25 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, a year ago, I am not the same person. I was married to a wonderful, wonderful man, great guy, just kind beyond belief, generous. But if I met him today, I wouldn't have married him. I married him at a time that his energy was compatible with my energy. And when I made a commitment to wanting to be happier, which really means a commitment to growth, personal growth, spiritual growth, a commitment to the truth, a commitment to sharing and teaching what I've learned and how to be happier, when I made that commitment to growth, I actually had to change. I had to change. I was am still forced to be different than I was a week ago, 2 weeks ago, a year ago, 6 months ago. And so people that have been in my life for a long time, even longer than 40 years, I have relatives that I still have connections with that have been in my life almost as old as I am. These people Whereas when I was younger, maybe in grammar school or junior high or high school or even college or even after college, the relationship was very compatible at the time. At this particular time in my life, it's not. The energy is not compatible. And let me be more specific. Choosing who I allow to come into my home is my responsibility. And when I say into my home, I'm really using that as an analogy to come into my life. And at this stage in my life and at this point, I have a few criteria that at this moment, I am not wavering. And let me just share with you what they are. And I want to say that not only is it my responsibility, you have a responsibility. So when people are in your life and you want them to be different, and you make a suggestion. I had that my Importance of Happiness class the other night, and one of the ladies says, "Well, one of my friends told me that I was filled with drama," or in other words, being very critical of someone else, finding fault with other people, finding fault with what's wrong with them, which is really funny. It's really not finding fault with somebody else. It's just knowing if the energy is compatible or not. Now, what I have struggled with, and I'm almost to the point of mastering it, I have to say, but what I have struggled with for years, for decades, is people that are really, really kind to me, really, really nice to me, really very, very kind and very nice. And then I call it the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde effect. And then the switch or the light switch goes on or the light switch goes off, and that same person can be mean, nasty, critical, teasing. There's a difference between teasing and digging. You know, a tease and a dig, there's a difference. I could feel the difference. And the difference between somebody that's really, really nice and then all of a sudden the light switch goes on and they're the opposite. It's, moody one day, unmoody, moody, not moody. For years, I accepted both sides of the coin. I accepted both sides of a person being really nice one moment and then being really jerks to me the next. And I'm telling you, it's this roller coaster of back and forth and back and forth. And finally, after all of these years, I'm off the ride. Because when a person is mean or inconsiderate or critical, that energy doesn't mix with who I am, because I know that because that's who I used to be. I used to be mean and critical and mean, critical. What else did I say? Mean. That's enough. Mean and critical. I used to be just like that. So I recognize that trait. And that back and forth, and I don't care how much I love you, I apologize to you, I must have been in a bad mood. It's just not working. It's just not good enough. It doesn't rate for me to have you to open the door and allow you to come inside my home. The thing with the back and forth and people that are nice one moment and then not nice the next moment has another component to it, and that component is drama. There is a difference between, and I'm only saying all this is because I used to be the queen, the high priestess of drama. I could cause a problem, or cause a problem in a second, in a split second. And therefore, I can recognize when it's this back and forth and back and forth. And it's really uncomfortable to be in a situation where somebody else is up and down and up and down, to the point where, because when somebody's back and forth and up and down, then I get to the point of not really trusting that I can be at peace, I can be myself. And whose responsibility is that? Mine. Now let me talk about people, and let me talk about, in my opinion, there are two types of people. Two types. Well, there's a lot of different types, but I'm putting it in two huge categories. And one is, you either are a giver or you are a taker. You either are a giver or a taker. I can feel, it's very easy to feel people that are takers, because I feel drained. I can feel drained afterwards. I can feel that I'm giving, but then I feel drained. And again, it's my responsibility to notice and to make a decision whether I let you in the house or not. Again, the number to call in to speak with me is area code 646-564-9619. Again, area code 646-564-9619, and press 1 to speak with me live. And so I'm sure if I've experienced people that are givers and people that are takers, maybe there's some takers listening to the radio. Maybe there's some givers listening to the radio show. But it's my responsibility to distinguish and to know which is which. Now, it's my fault if I allow a taker in my life, a taker in my home, and not do anything about it. It's my responsibility. In other words, I want to bring all the power back to the person in the mirror, all the power back to the individual. When I allow a taker, now listen, hold on a second, because I'm not saying that takers should be hung. I'm not saying that takers should be crucified. I'm not saying that takers should be taken out to the middle of the field and shot. That's not what I'm saying at all. Because quite frankly, there is compatible energy for people that are takers. I'm not saying takers are good, givers are bad, givers are good, bad, takers are good. I'm not putting a label on it. It's just reality. It's just the reality energy. It's a reality vibration. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying one's good and one's bad. I just know what's compatible with me. Thank you. I thank you so much that I remembered to say that, because sometimes I get emails and I'm not really clear with what I'm saying. So hopefully that cleared everything up. Now let me help you. Let me share with what I've learned about how to spot or how to discern who is what. "100% of the time." That's not 99.9. That's not 98.6. It's not 90%. 100% of the time, takers have agendas. There is an agenda. There is something that they want. There is something that they need. There is something that they want from me. They want from you. there is an agenda. And I have to say that, and I'm only saying this because my right hand is up, trust me, I had agendas. I always had an agenda. And that's the reason why I can feel and know and spot another agenda with my eyes closed. Again, nothing wrong with that person with an agenda. However, people with agendas are not compatible with my energy because, quite frankly, I've gotten to a point where my only agenda is to be peaceful with you. My only agenda is to share with you what I've learned the hard way about myself. What my agenda is to shine a light on truth and make clear reality of what this life experience is. And the life experience and this experience is about learning, growing, expanding, being something more, expanding, being something, okay, not being something more than, but being more of who you are. See, we can always be more of who we are. And so the agenda, my agenda is really not that I need something from you, or I want something from you, or there's something I need to get from you. My agenda is really to share with you my lumps, my bumps, my journey, my struggles, and what have I learned from them. And if for whatever reason you can relate or even start thinking in a different way about your own life and what your life lessons and your life journey has taught you, then that's it. I mean, what a great conversation. So all agendas, when I sense and I feel that there is an agenda from someone else, that I want something from you, that I need something from you, it's almost to the point where I do a mental, emotional shutdown. It's a feeling that I get that there's something off here. And I have to say that in the past, that something off here, I knew there was something off. I knew there was something up, but I did it anyway. But I continued the relationships anyway. Now, let me say this. I'm different. People can be different. People can change. I can be one way today and change in the next moment. So my door, in other words, when I make decisions to either accept or allow somebody to come into my house or come into my space or come into my life and be a part of my life, if I make a decision where, oh, I forgot. Let me just finish that point. When I make a decision that, okay, you are an outsider, you are, and when I say outsider, you are not inside, then I can change that in another day or another 2 days or another month or so. In other words, everything is at flux. Everything is always changing. Everything is always in motion. There is nothing, this life is not about being stagnant. This life is always about change and about different decisions. So if someone that I have let in and now they're out, they can still come back in, but it has to come from an observation of their, number one, losing agendas, number two, acceptance, number three, having energy that is compatible with my own energy. Now, if you accept me but you don't accept someone else, or if you Rebecca, you're just great, Rebecca, but that person over there, they have a problem. If you accept me and then you don't accept someone else, that really means that you don't accept me. Accepting someone, accepting a person is accepting everyone. Acceptance doesn't mean that a person can come inside or be compatible. Acceptance means witnessing who that person, what that person, that energy that they bring, giver versus taker, and acceptance without looking at them and saying there's something wrong. I know a person, I know myself when I'm challenged. Who am I when I'm challenged? When I'm challenged is when you will know me the best. It's easy to be happy, to smile when the sun's out and the birds are singing while the sun's out and it's a nice 65 degrees. It's easy to be happy when things are flowing. The challenge comes from when life throws the curveball, which is always happening. One of my new sayings is a perfect storm, which is what life is, a perfect storm. You know who I am when I'm challenged. I know who you are when you're challenged. Not only who you are when you're challenged, myself, who I am when I'm challenged, but this is where all of the things that I teach either come into play or for a moment they're forgotten. Like yesterday when I was at Costco, I was challenged with, do I complain about my mother or not? Well, I chose to complain, and that's who I was at that moment. Let me tell you this. I can say, well, no, I'm not going to make any future predictions, but I can say that I was uncomfortable enough during my complaining. During the time I was complaining, I was uncomfortable enough to be very mindful and very aware if that situation ever comes up and I have something to say. It's really interesting how a person who, like a mother or a sister or somebody that just, pushes your buttons, it's very interesting how I'm so quick to point out what's wrong with them. And those are the moments that the universe gives me the opportunity to really focus on what's right about them, or what I am grateful. What am I grateful for, as opposed to what do I notice is wrong? And that's all on me. Don't tell anyone, but it's all on me, and it's always on us. It's always on the person in the mirror. Now, what I wanted to say again was, before I could discriminate and allow certain energies to come inside or to be part of my space or in my inner circle or in my home, whatever you want to say, before I can make that decision, I have to have a certain value, a certain sense, I have to have a value of me. I have to value, number one, my time. I have to value my energy. I have to value where I choose to be in any moment. There are times And I have to say, when you're out in the public, in the real world, that sometimes I can be cornered or trapped and forced to have to listen to negative. Well, I don't want to say negativity. Forced to have to listen to energy that's not compatible with mine. But even in that state, there is a challenge for me. Am I in that energy, and do I sit there and complain about it and stew about it and, oh God, this person is complaining and why am I listening? Or do I accept it and, as the old saying goes, in one ear and out the other? Again, that's on me. A few years ago, maybe it was 10 years ago, I had a 50th birthday party, and it was huge, almost 100 people, sit-down dinner, entertainment, blah-bitty-blah, belly dancer. It was a beautiful, wonderful, happening party. And today, I would definitely say that there are maybe 3 people, 4 people. I could squeak out 5, but let me just stick with 4. No, 5. 5 people that I would invite to sit down and have dinner with. No more this huge big party thing, which was fine for me at 50. Right now, I don't need my ego fed or whatever that was, and whatever that was at that time. And it's really about changing and being different than you are 10 years ago. Selecting people, choosing people that are compatible with your energy is a number one priority when you want to remain happy. Now, there are people in my life that are very dear, and I admire, love, accept, respect, care about. And even with all that, the energy is not compatible, if that makes sense. People that I care, I respect, I want only good things for them, but still the energy isn't compatible. Let me give you a perfect example. Oh, here we go. Let's see, how do I say this? Okay. Being self-aware and conscious, in other words, knowing who you are, knowing your challenges, and actively wanting to shine. In other words, the buttons that, people can push your buttons or circumstances can push your buttons, and I'm actively working on my buttons. So a person that is self-aware, meaning a person that knows or has an idea that they know themselves and continually get to know themselves more and are more of themselves. You know what? I can't believe I just forgot my point. Knowing themselves, knowing the self-aware is compatible energy with me. A person that is good, that is kind, that is loving, that is accepting, but still not self-aware, that is another energy. The self-awareness is really, really important for me. And I'm going around in a circle, and now I'm actually stuck with what is my point. This is my point, everybody. Your relationships are your choices. You choose whether you bring somebody close to you or whether you keep somebody at a distance. And having people at a distance is actually very, very important and very valuable when you demand, want, are committed to peace and happiness. When you make the commitment to happiness, you also have to make the commitment to choosing every single person in your life, choosing how close you bring, you accept, you allow them to be in your life. Again, what to look out for? People with agendas, people that are givers, people that are takers. Now, again, no labeling, no good, no bad. It's all just compatible. Find the energy that is compatible to you as opposed to finding energy that isn't compatible and then wanting that energy to change, wanting that energy to be something other than what they are. If you are a fish and you want to have a relationship with an elephant, well, the energy isn't going to flow. If you are a bird and you want to have a relationship with a mountain lion, sometimes that energy is not going to be compatible. So you are responsible. Choose your relationships in every single moment. But stay open for change and know that you are powerful. Reality Spirituality is heard every Sunday at 7 a.m. You can call in at area code 646-564-9619. Again, area code 646-564-9619. Oh, hold on a second. I have a few people in the queue, and now they want to say hello, so let me say this. Hold on a second. You're live on Reality Spirituality. What's your first name?
Hi there. This is Jessica. I was listening to your show. Your loyal listener, one of your loyal listeners.
Hi, Jessica. I remember you. What's going on?
Well, I just wanted to make a comment on the last thing that you said about being particular about who you bring into your circle.
Please.
And, I have really firmly held that for years. And now I'm at the point that I have absolutely no one around me. So this never used to bother me. And now I am going out in the world and looking to make friends. But I don't want to use the word difficult, but it's been a little bit of a journey, and I find that a lot of people don't line up with my energy now. So that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. First of all, are you on a speakerphone?
I'm not, but I've been getting that comment lately.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I was just wondering. Okay, so you know what? Let me just talk about this because this is really, really huge. And my question to you is, why? Now I'm just asking you, why are you feeling like you want to make friends now?
My life has completely changed, and I want a lot of things that I never wanted before. I used to work from home. Now I don't want to work from home anymore. So I'm busy manifesting a lot of new things. I miss going out and laughing with people and having fun. I don't really have fun anymore. I want people to play with and people to talk to and people to share my life with. I didn't seem to care about that before. Yeah, now I care about it.
That is really, really interesting. So let me just share a couple of things that are off on the top of my head. In the last year, I've traveled to 3 separate places all by myself, where I didn't know anyone. And for me, I'm just talking about for me. For me, I can make fun or be fun or start a fun kind of conversation with a total stranger anywhere I go. Can you do that, or do you need to? And I'm just asking. Okay, so you can do that.
I'm really good at that. I've gone on vacations myself too, and I like it. And it's not like I'm going to abandon that, but it's weird. A lot of things have been coming into my awareness lately. Of like, I thought that I've been working from home for like 10 plus years. But I've been looking over things. I'm like, I really haven't been making a lot of money. This really hasn't even been a full-time job. And just all these things of people, people have coworkers. I mean, I hear you talk about you go to work. I mean, even coworkers, just to see people on a regular basis. I never used to, like I said, I never really cared about any of that. But now I want that in my life.
So let me say this coworker thing, because I'm going to have to throw this out really, really fast. I have coworkers because I'm forced to have coworkers.
Okay, I know.
but Jessica, I don't go out. I used to go out to lunch with. I don't go out to lunch. They're having a holiday party in 2 weeks. I am not attending. If I could go into that office all by myself, I would be a happy camper. And see, but let me talk about you and what you're saying, because and you've heard me say it 100 times. Whatever's happening is supposed to be happening. People that are in your life are not in your life. In other words, if you don't have anyone in your life, quote unquote, have anyone right now, it's because it's not time to have anyone. If you have somebody tomorrow in your life, then it's time to have someone. In other words, you're still coming. It's not really about having the friends or having a coworker or having the friends or going out. It's really about an energy of being satisfied or dissatisfied.
Yeah, so the reason I like your show, because I live a lot of the same principles that you do, or I try to, the process. So even though I have lately this stirring within me of like, I want friends, hey, I want to work outside the home, I want to, like, all these desires have come up within me. So it's the fine line of, even though I have that and there's the antsiness and the desire, I sometimes think, well, okay, go see what's going on Meetup, go do something. But there's another part of me that's like, doesn't have the energy to do it, feels really tired, still like clearing out old stuff. So it's a fine line of knowing it's coming, knowing that things are shifting, but also being okay with like, not forcing myself if I'm like exhausted from dealing with all this energetic stuff that I'm working through.
Right. And again, and you know what you did, which was really interesting when I said an energy of satisfaction or energy of dissatisfaction, it just, me, it seems like you overlooked that. It's really about having an energy of satisfaction right where you are right now. With friends, without friends.
No, I'm not in that at all. I'm definitely not in that at all. No. And it's been getting worse. No. Yeah.
You're not in what?
I'm not in the energy of satisfaction. Like, I've gone through that phase several times of like, this is the way my life is right now, but I don't feel satisfied at all lately. No.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. So this thing about the friends and everything else, it's really getting back to, am I satisfied or not satisfied in the moment? Am I really trusting that where I am is where I'm supposed to be? And it just sounds like that you're not trusting that where you are is where you're supposed to be. It's a trust. It's a trust factor. It's a knowing. It's actually surrendering to, okay, I want this, universe. And you said it. You actually said it. Having desires. Oh, my goodness, my dear Jessica, my dear.
I'm going to challenge you with something here, actually. Can I jump in there? I want to challenge you with something.
Please.
Is that okay?
Of course.
So my feeling is that, yes, there is the acceptance and the surrender and the trusting, but there's the other side to it of like when you feel this thing building inside of you that you want more, that, we'll just leave it like that you want more, you have all these desires. Don't you think then that is, hey, things are shifting, hey, that's kind of moving you into action, rather than, no, let me just be satisfied. I mean, that's why I think the dissatisfaction comes, so that you start doing something. It's building energy.
Okay. How about this one? No, you're wrong. and I'll tell you exactly where that because what you're listening to is you're listening to your ego. See, your ego is very dissatisfied.
It's my soul, though. I think it's the soul saying, "Hey,
okay, so it's the ego disguising itself as your soul. Listen, the ego.
I agree with that too.
What?
Tell me, how are you backing up your thought that is the ego?
Yes, let me just remind the audience. For me, the ego has one job and one job only. That's it. And the ego is a 5-year-old child. Number one, it needs attention, and number two, its job is to make me feel as bad, as dissatisfied, as restless, as unfocused, as all of this other, and having desires, all of that stuff. That's the job of the ego. And the ego will do whatever it takes, even disguise itself as the soul. And the reason why I know this is when I am at peace. See, the universe is always at peace. The restlessness, there is a difference between being restless and, listen, let me just share. Here I am in the middle of my life, and I have thoughts like, okay, I'm not doing enough. I'm not reaching out. I don't have an assistant. I don't have a manager. Things aren't happening as fast as they should. Yeah, I have a cable TV a show, but that's only going to be heard in one city. Why is it heard all over the world? All that's ego, and I know the difference. And so there's a difference between doing when I'm inspired, or doing because I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing enough. Things are happening. I'm restless. There is a peace about when you're inspired, and there is an unrest. There's a difference between inspiration, because when you're inspired, you do it with ease. You said something about being forced to. You drain, your energy is drained. You don't want, oh God, something else I have to do. But there is an ease when you're inspired. That's a big difference. And your ego will do anything it can to stay alive and to have you give it attention. Anything, including disguising itself as the soul. Challenge me again.
Well, I'm thinking, this is good. Well, because I'm thinking about things. Yesterday I sat in front of the TV and I just watched nonstop. And I was bored, and I was miserable, and I was restless, and I was depressed.
You know why? You know why you were bored and restless?
Because I've been doing this for years. That's why.
Because you think there's something wrong with that. You think there's something.
I'm not happy with it anymore. I used to be very happy by doing that.
Again, you think that there's something wrong with that. And see, did you ever hear my story about the universe wanting me to do absolutely nothing? Did you hear that story yet?
Yeah.
And how long it took me to be satisfied doing nothing and not being critical of myself doing nothing.
Right, I did hear that. Yeah.
2 years.
Right. Well, I'm talking about 10 plus years.
Okay, so you beat me on the record. So what do you want?
Some kind of a word. Well, I'm just saying that, for me, I think that I woke up this morning and I was thinking, okay, well, what would make you happy? What do you want to do today? And I was like, well, I think that I live right by New York City. I think I'd like to go into New York City. I've been thinking about it for a couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you want to do? I want to go listen to live music. I want to hear jazz. Okay. So it ends up that there's an event going on. I could get dressed. I could go do it. But there's another part of me that is that whole tired thing. I feel so tired. So I can either continue giving in to that tiredness and stay home and continue that cycle of depressed and doing nothing, or I can maybe force myself to go take a shower and get ready, and then I'll feel happy and go out. I don't know. Don't you think that people get into cycles of
I understand what you're saying. You're talking about staying in a habit and just being habitual and habit. But see, what you're in a habit of is feeling bad about what you're doing or feeling bad about what you're not doing. And let me say this. True. You're in a habit of that. Definitely. You're in a habit of feeling bad about you. Bad about what you're doing. And you're also in a habit of living in the future.
Because nothing's going on in my now. That's the thing. For years, nothing has been happening in my now. So it's it gets to that point that it's I want to live life already. That's where I'm at. I want to live life.
But see, you are living life. You're living life, but what you're doing is you're living life and you're putting judgments on what your life looks like. So you're putting judgments on where you are. You're putting judgments on not doing anything. You're putting judgments. You're criticizing. You've been criticizing yourself for years. And thinking that I'll tell you when they change. They change when you stop feeling bad about things not changing. Write that down. That was brilliant. Let me say it again.
Okay, I'll write it down.
No, I was actually, but yeah, things will change when you feel good about things not changing. That really requires a lot of trust. See, you're looking at your life with your human eyes. You're making judgments with your human eyes, your human heart, your human. You're looking at. You're seeing that you're thinking that there's something wrong. And as long as you think that there's something wrong, and as long as you think, see, this going out and going to play a game or going to listen to music, that's not gonna do anything for what's going on inside of you.
It would 100%. See, I disagree with that because if I go out, well, because I think about this stuff a lot. That's all what I do. I have loads of time to think. This has been 15 years of just time to myself to think. So
and let me say this. You are, and I love you. You are on this whole cycle. You're going around and around and around like a hamster chasing its tail. You're not thinking, sweetie. What you're doing is just rehashing. Thinking actually is coming up with something new or a new strategy or a new, like Einstein with the theory of relativity, thinking is something new. You're just rehashing thoughts, and you're giving your thoughts a lot of power because you're actually feeling bad because of your thoughts. Your thoughts are the only thing that's making you suffer, not this life. It's your thoughts about the life. Yes or yes?
Right. Yes, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that you get to, I know this is another thought, but I just think that you get to a certain age and you say, hey, I've lived this type of life experience for X amount of years. I don't like it anymore.
No.
Which I never
No. What you're doing is you're still rehashing that same thought that I don't, again, when you, it's really crazy and it sounds like it's unbelievable, but when you get to a point where you are and it's really about being okay with where you are. And you know what? This is going to really hurt. Put your seatbelt on. This is going to really hurt, okay?
Okay. Uh-huh.
This is going to hurt, sweetie. And
Just
I'm only giving it to you because I had it given to me, slapped in my face more than once. So I've fallen on this sword a lot, and this is really going to hurt. I mean, it's going to hurt the ego.
Mm-hmm.
When you actually say, this is really going to hurt. When you say, you know what, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be happy. I give everything up. If this is all my life is going to look like, if this is all my life is going to be, I'm okay with that. If my life for the next 20 years, 30 years, 40 years is going to be more of the same of this stuff, I'm okay. And you can't fool the universe because they know when you're just kind of saying it just to get by, and they know when your heart really feels it. And it took me years to get to that point because I had desires, I had wants, all of those things until I finally gave up and said, okay, universe, if you only want me to touch 3 people in my life, if I only talk to one person and their life is affected as opposed to millions of people, if all you want is just one person to be affected by what I say or what I've learned, then I'm okay, universe. It's not easy to do, Jessica. It's really not. But it is the only way to get to another level of understanding and awareness. It's the only way. And you can struggle with it. You can disagree with what I said, but I'm telling you, trust me. It comes with total acceptance. And if my life is going to look like this forever, I'm just going to be thankful. Well, first throw the thankful out. I'm going to accept it.
What does that give you if you accept it? I'm missing what you get by accepting.
A feeling of satisfaction, regardless of what's going on. That's what you get, as opposed to the energy of dissatisfaction. I'm not living my life with this dissatisfaction energy about what's not happening. And when you're in a moment of dissatisfaction, your future moments are going to be dissatisfied also. So it's really about getting to that place of satisfaction, regardless of what it looks like. And of course, we're not here alone. Just ask the universe, how do I get to be a place? How can I live being satisfied with just this? With 10 years of this, with 20 years of this, with 30 years, how do I get to a place of satisfaction? Because quite frankly, this whole world is an illusion anyway. It's really, the ego is here to screw with us and to think that there's something wrong with the journey. it should be unfolding faster. Something different should be happening. It's not easy, honey, sister.
I just think it's have you ever heard of human design?
Human design?
Yeah, it's like a spiritual, if you Googled it, you would, basically their philosophy, it has to do with astrology and I Ching and a bunch of other things. But basically it says that here's like your blueprint for who you are. You kind of like how you have an astrology chart. And that this is how your life is basically going to be, and you should just accept it. And it kind of says, forget the whole self-improvement movement, that you can change your life. It's kind of like your life is going to be the way that it is, or your personality. I guess it has to do more with personality. Your personality is going to be the way that it is, and you just might as well accept who you are. So I feel like you kind of talk about that, just kind of, hey, this is my life, and I need to just accept it, and right, because it goes back to your whole thing that, like, when you've tried to change things, the universe still did whatever they wanted to do. They win. You say that a lot. So
you know what? Okay, so now you're bringing up the main point. And thank you. So I ask this question a lot. I know you've heard it. And if I asked you, my dear Jessica, if you would have designed your life exactly the way it would be, up to this point, would you have designed it the way it's happened, the way it's unfolded? It's either yes or no. It sounds like the answer is no. Okay, so with that in mind, I wouldn't have designed my life the way it's unfolded either. I am not in control. Listen, don't tell anybody, but I'm manifesting something. I'm visualizing my vision boards. I hope nobody's listening to this. I hope it's just me and you. Visual boards, manifesting, that's a bunch of crock. I'm blocking money from me.
It's like I've noticed recently, because some things have manifested, and I noticed that, again, it doesn't have to do with, I'm not in charge of the timing of it, but the things do come true. So
they come true because it's already in the plan. It was already designed. See, your ego thinks that, I'm manifesting it. I can control it. I'm visualizing it, and it happens. No, the universe has said this was going to, in fact, before we even got here, the universe is, yes, I do believe, listen, I didn't design it. Why do I think that I have more power? I didn't have any power behind me. Why am I going to have more power? What I have power over is accepting and being satisfied with whatever it looks like. Whatever it looks like, now, am I sitting back here just doing nothing? No, I'm acting on inspiration. If I'm inspired to make a phone call, if I'm inspired to send an email, if I'm inspired to I'm acting, but I'm not going to try. Why am I going to be in charge of something I have no control over? Why am I going to try to do that? Why am I going to try to drive? Huh? Can I share a story?
Yeah,
Hello?
I just want to say one thing before you go. Yeah, I'm listening. I'm thinking.
Hello? You know what? And you know what?
I started wondering.
You know what? Another thing, you're way too serious, honey. You need to lighten up. Your energy is very.
I know, that's why I would like some friends to hang out with, because I have a lot more fun when I'm around people and I could laugh with people or make fun of them.
Well, listen. But you have to lighten up, because what you're going to attract with this serious energy is more serious. Anyway, listen,
I know it's so heavy, I can't stand it. But I have to come to acceptance with my heavy energy right now. This is the phase I'm going.
You do, and let's start having. You know what? Let's start having fun in the house. Can you have some fun in that house by yourself, doing absolutely nothing? Let's have some fun there.
Yeah.
Why do you need to go outside to have fun? I'm not saying that you can't, but
I agree. But then it's kind of like, okay, well, this is another thing that I have to do. And then there's that resistance of I don't really want to do anything, and I'm tired and I'm exhausted, and it's that whole cycle of it's like there's no winning at this point, because I've done like huge energy stuff this last year and a half. A lot of it has had to do with family and the home. So it's just, I'm just in this space of just being exhausted.
Unhappy.
I hate saying that. Yeah. Unhappy, exhausted, heavy, serious, terrible. But I have to be in acceptance of that.
and this is the thing. This is the thing. Can you even look at that, heavy, unhappy, serious, not funny? I mean, can you find any humor in that? Can you find any humor in being miserable? Can you look at yourself and then just kind of lighten up and laugh about it? See, it's really a different perspective. It's shifting your perspective, because you're in the habit it's a habit of feeling bad about yourself and feeling depressed and feeling heavy. It's really a habit, and the ego wants you to stay there. It's really time to laugh about, oh, I'm so freaking depressed, and let me start laughing about it. I'm so depressed. Come on.
It makes me want to cry. I mean, But I understand that the whole, I know I have to do those things, but that goes against the being an acceptance of it.
Well, see, no, you don't have to do it other than accepting and then being light. So you're serious and heavy as opposed to being light and Well, let me say this.
I know. Mm-hmm.
If I was talking about compatible energy, you know what? Because I was thinking about, let's see, would I hang out with somebody that's serious and very heavy? Hell no.
No.
But
exactly,
see,
that's exactly what I was going to say.
This is the thing.
That's what I was thinking about yesterday. I said I can't even get into a conversation with somebody because I'm so heavy right now.
But see, this is the thing. You're draining yourself. You're draining yourself. But the ego wants you to drain yourself. Seriously, the ego wants you to. The ego is celebrating and so happy. Look at what we have Jessica doing now. She's so heavy. She's so depressed. We won. Hold on a second, Jessica. I have somebody else that wants to chat.
Okay.
What a great show. What a great show. Hold on. Yes, you're live on Reality Spirituality. What's your first name?
Joe.
Hi, Joe. What's up?
Do you give advice on relationships?
Yes.
Okay. Now,
What's the question? Be specific. Let me hear what you got, Joe. Let me hear what you got.
If a woman comes to you and says, Rebecca, I'd like to enhance my relationship with my boyfriend. We just got together. We're a couple that we've committed ourselves to each other just recently. What can I do to enhance this relationship to make it work? What would you say?
Okay, hold on a second. First of all, let me say this. I'd say very respectfully, I don't do hypotheticals. You tell me what is going on with you specifically.
No, that's not what I called for. What I called for was to get
hypothetical?
That advice. Well, a hypothetical, which happens every day. When men and women get together, they would want to know, if they go to a counselor, what they can do to make the relationship work, correct?
Well, if
they don't go there to find out how it's bad.
If you say it's correct, it's correct. But again, what I do is, if you have a problem specifically, then I answer that question. I don't really do hypotheticals.
So if I were a woman calling you right now and I said that.
But you're not a woman.
So that's what you would say? You're not a woman or you're not a man and I don't do hypotheticals, therefore I can't help you?
I definitely would say I don't do hypotheticals.
So if I had my sister come on the phone and say the same thing, then you would help her out, but you wouldn't help me out.
You know what, Joe? I really, really appreciate your energy, but if you have something specific that you're having an issue with...
Answer I needed.
Okay. You're welcome. Oh. Jeez Louise. Hello.
Weird.
Now hold on a second, Jessica. That had to be funny.
Yeah. I mean, I totally get what was going on. So,
but see everything. It's really about being light. It's really about being light when about life, about what someone says, what somebody doesn't say, and it's really about being light with yourself.
Yeah, but isn't it okay? So, devil's advocate, just using this whole acceptance thing. If I know I have to become lighter. I know I have to do some stuff to lighten up my energy. I've been feeling kind of crappy for the last couple of days.
No, I'm going to make it even easier for you, okay? Because see, this is the thing with you. You go around, I know I have to do it, and then I'm not doing it, and now I feel bad because I'm not doing it. I know I have to do it. I know I'm not doing it, and now I feel bad. It's a whole cycle. And
but
so
I don't even acceptance of it, though. That's the
exactly.
thing.
See, that's the thing. It really comes back to an acceptance of where you are, and really this feeling bad because I'm not doing enough, or I'm not doing anything, or this feeling bad or beating yourself up or being critical with self is a whole round and around and around. I really don't want you to look and think that there's anything wrong, believe it or not.
I would like to let that go too, and I know that's been coming up a lot because it's time for me to let that go. But the act of letting it go is still doing something.
Well, let me say this. See, this is the thing, and then I'm going to end the show only because it's about time to end the show. But no, You just said something. You said it's time to do something. It's not time. If something is happening, it's supposed to be happening. If something is not happening, it's not supposed to happen. It's really simple. So don't think that something is supposed to be happening when it's not happening.
Right, okay, so if I'm feeling heavy now...
Then you're supposed to be feeling heavy. Then you're supposed to be...
Right, and then I shouldn't have to do, or I don't have to do anything to lighten up my energy because it just is what it is, and when it's time to go, it'll go.
Exactly, acceptance. Acceptance of the heavy energy, acceptance of the serious energy. When I said you're just serious and you're heavy, I'm just pointing it out. I didn't say not to accept it.
Oh, isn't that interesting? Because usually when you hear that, the way that I heard that was like that needs to be fixed. That's the way, like, yeah. Okay.
No, there's nothing. There's nothing that you need to fix, sweetie. Nothing that you need to fix. Only everything that you need to accept.
Right.
See the yeah.
Because again, that's exactly what I've been thinking. Oh, you're so serious. You're so heavy. You're so depressed lately. You better snap out of it. Stop it. You better do something different. And it's like, I just can't.
No. The only thing that you need to do is just to accept wherever you are in whatever in any moment, is just to accept where you are. Heavy, happy, light, depressed, sad, serious, accept it all with no judgment.
Right. I'm going to write that.
So your homework assignment is, I'm giving you a homework assignment. It's just going to start with the letter A, acceptance, 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 acceptance. Because the universe is
without judgment. Yeah. I'm including without the judgment. I need that.
Yeah, including without judgment. And see, because the universe is looking at you and feeling you and saying, well, there goes Jessica. She sure is heavy and serious. No, if you're serious and heavy, it's because you're supposed to be in that moment serious and heavy. And another moment's going to be different, even if it's 10 years, even if it's 20 years. It really comes down to acceptance.
Right. I Amen. Okay, I got it. Thank you. I'll do that.
No, thank you. Thank you.
I enjoy your shows. I really enjoy them. I just want to let you know. I know how that can be sometimes. Again, I know it goes back to acceptance, but I know how that can be sometimes when you're talking and putting your work out there and you kind of wonder, is anyone listening? Is this, is that, whatever the mind picks up? Of course, my thoughts. But I just want to let you know that I really enjoy it. I love listening to you. I know that sometimes you say the same things over and over again. I just like hearing it. It's just one of those
things. See, that's the problem when you start living in the present moment. You don't even remember the past. But I do say some things over and over again. That's so funny. That's right.
I just like listening. Yeah, I like listening. You need to hear it over and over again.
I don't know if you've heard this story, but I remember when I started with this radio show and nobody was listening, and the universe said to me, well, we're listening. So after that, people listen, people don't listen. It's fine. If nobody listens, it doesn't even matter. I'm putting it out there. And if I say things over and over, it's because I need to hear them again.
Hey, we all do that. So,
Jessica, my dear Jessica. Okay, so there you go. There's a little shift in your energy, but and if it shifts, whatever shift it is, it's a perfect shift. So go out there and be depressed and be happy about it. You know what it is? Listen. Okay, this is the term. It's called conscious depression. It's a big difference. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Have I said that before? Have I said that before?
No, you haven't. I haven't heard that before.
Yeah, it's conscious depression. It's conscious being sad. It's conscious all of those emotions. It's conscious. When you're conscious of it, I mean, you have it already. You're winning. You're conscious. Period.
Yeah. Mhm. But isn't everybody who's depressed? I'm gonna say it, but then I know the show's over. Isn't everybody conscious when they're depressed? Isn't somebody aware that they're depressed? People know that they're not happy. So I think the consciousness comes in because you know that it'll shift whenever it shifts. Whereas maybe, I don't know.
Well, either consciousness, in their head, but the consciousness I'm talking about is in your spirit. There's a big difference when you're linked and you're connected universally. There's a different consciousness, knowing that everything in the world is in order, or there's a consciousness, I'm depressed and there's something wrong. There's a big difference.
Yeah. Man,
I'm a genius.
So huge in society.
What?
You have an answer for everything.
I do have an answer, don't I? And I love the challenges. Please challenge me. I'm not. Hey, I could be off. I could be wrong. I could change my mind. The universe could change my mind. I'm not attached to any answer ever, because the answer that I give today might be different tomorrow. Who knows?
Mhm. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I feel better already, so thank you.
You're welcome, Jessica, anytime. I love that you're listening to the show, and I love that you're a loyal listener. Thank you so much. Thank you for being a part of my life. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so we're going to wrap everything up. Wow, what a great hour. Jessica, honestly, everybody, we all have our personal challenges, our personal things where we're going through. I love whoever Mr. Mystery Man called in and, well, that's your answer. You know what? This is a question. What does the humpback man want more than anything else? I don't know if I've said this before already, but it's very important on this particular day. What does the humpback man want more than anything else? Answer: to get rid of his hump? No. to find a humpback woman? No. The answer is for you to have a hump too. When you're out in the world and somebody is mean or somebody is critical or somebody attacks or somebody does whatever, says whatever, it's only because they want you to have their hump. They want you to have, not their hump, but they want you to have a hump too. So when you understand that and you know that if anybody comes at you and they're little whatever it is, it's never personal, ever. It's never personal. The humpback man wants you to have a hump too. So when you really get that and you know that, people can say whatever they want to me, and it's never taken personally. So that's another lesson. I don't know if I've said it 100 times, but if I have, 102, 101. Okay, Reality Spirituality is heard every Sunday at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you've enjoyed the show, and I know that you have, you can go to Reality Spirituality Facebook page and like Reality Spirituality. Email me at info@RebeccaNorrington.com. You can visit my website at www.RebeccaNorrington.com. And also I want you to realize who you are. You are a physical extension of the universe. You're always changing. You're always growing. Love is patient and love is kind. Be patient and be kind with yourself. Be your own best friend. Remember, you cannot have a happy ending to an unhappy journey. So it's all about the journey. It's all about the moment. It's all about being satisfied in every moment, feeling it, accepting it. And I will chat with you again. Have a great week, everybody. You've been listening to Reality Spirituality.
Yeah. Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. Reality Spirituality. It's the new experience. Reality Spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one now. Reality Spirituality. You got a question for RLN? Reality Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. Reality Spirituality. Oh, now we get real. Reality Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get down. Reality Spirituality. Yeah, you gonna feel good now. Get real good. Get spirituality. Time to get real.
I'm just giggling because Jessica said sometimes I say things over and over. Yes, I do. Oh, well. Reality Spirituality. Talk to you next week.